Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again with another review. And today, I'd like to give you 5 solid reasons why I think you're going to fall in love with the Oukitel P2001 portable power station. Now, I've done a complete review of this product already. I've gone into the specifications, I've talked about the technology, but a lot of times those technological discussions can get a little confusing because there's a lot of buzzwords, a lot of acronyms, and it turns out it's hard to compare one unit against another based on the specifications alone. So I thought today I would take some time and boil it down to the top 5 reasons I think the P2001 is different than most other portable power stations on the market. And each of these things I discussed today are really good points for you to compare one unit may be considering against the P2001. This will make it a little simpler for you and make sure you get the best value for your money. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is charging the unit, because any portable power station you buy, you're obviously going to have to charge it before you can use it out in the field. Now, Oukitel builds in an AC charging kit, a DC charging kit you can use in your car, and a solar panel charging kit that you can use with anybody's solar panels that will drink the sunlight, turn that into DC, and charge the unit. So they give you 3 options. And to be fair, most portable power stations in the market provide multiple ways to charge it, but Oukitel's built in the cables. These come as part of the kit. A lot of other power stations, you don't get the DC cord, you don't get the charging kit for the solar panels, and those are extra expenses. So it's nice they include all 3 of these, and they actually took it a step further and built this little storage compartment in the top where all of the cables fit. So when you're done charging it at home or you're charging it in your car, put the cables in the top, and that way when you're out in the field and you have to recharge it, all the cables are with you, because nothing's worse than taking a portable power station out on a camping trip, getting out there in the woods, have your solar panel, you're all ready to go, and you're missing the cable. So I like the fact that they built that in. But the really important thing to keep in mind is the way you charge the unit. And you'll notice with the AC charging kit, it's just a cord. You basically plug this into your wall outlet, plug the other end into the unit, and you might be wondering, where's that power brick? Most other portable power stations have this giant power brick that basically converts the AC in your home to DC that's being sent to the unit. Well, they don't have a power brick because that conversion is done inside the unit. And that's super important because those external charging bricks are wildly inefficient, which means you're pushing a lot of energy into them, but not a lot of energy is coming out the other side. It's getting warm, it's getting hot, and you're not really efficiently charging the unit. And that's why it takes hours sometimes to charge some of the other portable power stations. What Oukitel did, they're brilliant engineers, is they built that charging circuit inside the unit. And that does 2 things for them. Number 1, it eliminates that external charging brick, which may break down the road. You may lose it, have a hard time trying to find a replacement for it. It eliminates all that hassle, but more importantly, they can control the efficiency of how the AC is turned into DC, and they can manage the batteries and safely and quickly charge those batteries internally. And what that means for you, and this is the first one, is you can charge this unit fully charge it in 2.5 hours. You can charge it even faster by using a couple of different charging circuits at the same time. So this is a fast charging unit, which means you can plug it into the wall and get out the door quickly, because nothing's worse than waiting 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes for the thing to fully charge before you can leave on your vacation. So I love the fact that they built that in. Another thing they built in was with the solar charging option. When you use a solar panel, you can't control how the sun hits that solar panel because the sun's moving around during the day. It's got clouds flowing in front of it. Maybe the solar panel's not facing their direction. So throughout the day, the voltage that generates and the current it generates can vary dramatically. And the challenge is the solar panel can't really control how that charge is being fired at the battery. So what you'll need is a circuit called an MPPT, which is basically a circuit that takes whatever's given from the solar panels and sort of mediates that and grooms it to put it into the batteries in the most efficient way possible. A lot of the portable power stations require the solar panels to have that circuit, and that's very expensive. What Oukitel did was build that MPPT into the unit again, just like they did with the AC conversion, so you can use anybody's solar panel, and whatever energy is generated from that beautiful sunlight will be groomed internally using the MPPT circuit and sent to the batteries in a safe fashion to quickly charge them. And they're squeezing every electron possible out of that conversion from sunlight, so again, you're getting a faster charge from solar panels than you will on most other units. All right, so once you've charged the unit, the next thing you have to worry about is the type of battery chemistry inside the unit. Now, a lot of the portable power stations on the market use a standard LiPo or lithium polymer cell, which is okay, it'll hold the charge fine, but it tends to be very temperamental around hot days and cold days. It doesn't hold the charge really long, so a lot of the LiPo-based units, if you charge it on a Tuesday and start to use it on a Friday, you'll notice it's decayed down to 80% or whatever. This one uses a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is one of the latest battery chemistry technologies technologies, and that is very tolerant for hot days, cold days. It'll hold the charge for a long time. You can charge it, come back a week later, you still have 100% charge on it. The really big deal, though, is the recharge cycles, because LiPo technology may have a couple of hundred recharge cycles, which means you've got a limited life out of those batteries before they start decaying. So you may get 2 or 3 years into the use and then have problems with them. With using the lithium iron phosphate batteries, you'll have several thousand recharge cycles. And if I'm doing the math on that, you could charge it every day for a decade. I mean, it's going to outlast me, quite honestly. So you've got a unit that can last a long time. You won't have to worry about replacing it. So battery chemistry is super important. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the number of ports. Now, a lot of the portable power stations in the market advertise that they have AC output, they have DC output, and they have USB output. But that's not really the whole story, because with AC, the important thing you want to notice is, number one, this has got 6 AC outlets on it. So you can draw 2,000 watts of energy externally from this by plugging things in over here on the AC. But a really important consideration for AC charging or AC output is to have a pure sine wave output. A lot of the portable power stations in the market use what's called a modified sine wave, which works okay if you're using a light or you're using a fan. It's not great for sensitive electronics. So if you're going to plug a laptop in there or some other device that's got digital circuitry in it, you want to make sure you've got a pure sine wave. As far as the DC goes, they also give you a variety of DC connectors up here. There's a full-sized port right there, like in your car. You can draw 10 amps off that at 12 volts. Next to that is an XT60, which is a pretty common connection. There are cables that'll convert the XT60 to a lot of different profiles, so you can plug a lot of things into it. Both of those are 12 volts at 10 amps, which is a lot of current you can draw. If you notice below it, there are 2 ports right here that are 5521s. Now, 5521 is a standardized port that'll deliver 12 volts at 3 amps, and there are cables that'll convert that to another car outlet or specialized cables you can use to charge a DVD player or game console. So you've got 4 DC ports over there that deliver a lot of current outside the battery. And the important thing to remember is you can use all of these at the same time. Now, where this unit really shines is on the front down here with the USB charging. And by the way, I didn't even mention this. You can turn all these circuits on individually, which again is another difference. I guess I'm going to give you more than 5. But anyway, turning on each circuit individually is important, because if you're not using the AC, don't turn it on, because you don't want the inverter drinking electrons and not producing anything. So turn on what you need. Anyway, back to the USB. They have 4 full-sized USBA ports on there, and those are the standard ports you use at home. Any USB charger you've got today, any cable that plugs into a USB-A, you can plug into those ports and charge to your heart's content. The important thing to note is that 2 of these ports are what are called QC or quick charge ports, which is the latest fast charging technology for a lot of Android devices, a lot of portable game consoles. And what quick charging technology does is whatever you plug into that port, this product will look at the device that's been plugged in, it'll query the device to find out what level the battery charge is at, and it'll adjust the voltage and current to quickly and safely charge that device as fast as possible. So that QC standard, again, which is on a lot of Android phones, a lot of tablets, a lot of computers, it can fast charge that device. You can still use those for regular devices as well, and they'll work just great, but having 2 QC ports on there means if you've got a quick charge device, you can quickly charge it from this unit. Where it really shines in addition to that are the 2 USB-C ports right over here. Now, USB-C is the very latest charging standard for all portable devices out there, but what's unique about these USB-C ports is, number one, they're PD, which is another quick charging standard called power delivery. If you've got some of the newer Apple products, they like that PD delivery. If you've got a drone, it likes PD delivery. So plugging in there, the same behavior happens. That port will look at the device you plugged in, it'll assess what battery levels are currently on that device, and it'll make adjustments for the voltage and current to quickly and safely charge that device. In addition to that, it can output a tremendous amount of power. So each of these USB-C ports is 100 watts, which is way higher than most of the portable power stations on the market. Most other units probably are 30 watts, 45 watts, maybe 60 watts if you're lucky. Having 100 watts means you can plug really thirsty portable devices in there, like a laptop or a game console or a gigantic tablet. Anything that plugs into a PD port that requires that level of current, each of those ports will deliver 100 watts. So you not only have a wide range of ports you can plug into, but you've got the latest technology, you've got the latest standards, both QC and PD, you've got really, really high current deliveries, 100 watts for those USB-C ports. So everything you need to charge out in the field, you can essentially plug and operate off this unit. And again, when you compare that to other units on the market, they may have the ports, but they may not be PD, they may not be QC, they're certainly not going to be 100 watts. So I love the fact that they give you, again, every connection you could possibly need to charge all of your thirsty portable devices out in the field. So the output is great. Another thing to think about is that this unit has a technology built in for their battery management system, which is the governing electronics, if you will, over the entire unit. And that battery management system is constantly looking at the input current and balancing it across the batteries to safely and quickly charge them. It's looking at the output current that's being delivered to all the ports out there, and it's looking for any kind of irregularities where it can shut a port down if you draw too much current. So the battery management system is critical to the operation of the unit. They've got a very sophisticated battery management system in here, and one of the benefits of this particular BMS is the fact that it does charge through technology. Meaning I can charge it, and while I'm charging it, I can draw current out of all the ports externally. Now think about that a second. What you've got then, if I'm charging it at home, is sort of the Swiss Army knife of charging devices. So if I set this down in my kitchen or in my den and I plug it in while I'm charging the P2001, I can plug a phone in, plug a laptop in, plug my drone batteries in, and charge those while I'm charging the internal battery. So it really does give you a huge benefit when you're charging things. And in your car, if you plug it into one outlet on your car, all the ports become active. And again, you can use all those ports while you're charging it, which is pretty important. And that leads to the last benefit, which I think is a major benefit, is the fact that it can be used as an uninterruptible power supply. And what I mean by that is you can plug it in at home. Anything you plug into it is going to use the current that's flowing through it when it's connected. But if you have a blackout, it immediately switches to the internal battery to continue to operate that equipment. Now, if you're running a computer at home and you have a lot of blackouts, you won't even notice the blip in power, because in 10 milliseconds, it's going to move over to this internal power on the unit, which means, again, the lights are going to go out, but your computer's going to continue to run. If you're running a CPAP machine, you go to sleep, the last thing you want is for the CPAP to go off if you lose power. This will absolutely provide power, again, with that quick switch over to get you on the internal power so you don't even notice that the power was lost. And I think that's a major benefit. Now, if you're just using it in the field as a portable power station, that's not that big a deal, but I love that dual use where I can take it in the field and use it. And when I'm home, I'll plug it in the office. All my electronics plug into it. If we lose power, it's not that big a deal for me because I've got an uninterruptible power supply right here. So all those things together really separate this from most of the other portable power stations on the market. 2,000 watts of external charging and operating capabilities. It's portable. I mean, it's a little bigger than most, but it's going to be bigger if you're going to be heading out on a camping trip. You want to have a little extra juice so you can run everything out there, put a fan in there, put a light in there, charge all your portable devices. So there are smaller ones, there are bigger ones, but for me, this is like right in the Goldilocks zone of being big enough to handle everything, but small enough to still be portable. And with all the brilliance they built into this, you'd be hard-pressed to find one that compares to it, especially at this capacity and this pricing. So hopefully you found this review helpful. I like this unit an awful lot. You can tell I'm jazzed about it. So thanks again for watching, and until next time, stay nerdy.